G'day, this is Jonathan. In this video, I will give a walkthrough of the Owners Corporation Act. Now, keeping in mind, this is I'm only doing the act I'm going through is only applicable to Victoria. If you're in other states of Australia, it should have a similar version of it in the whichever the state you're from. Now, keep in mind this is an education video that's reflecting my own personal perspective. Um, it's not a legal advice, and you should all form your own judgment. What I will be doing a bit unique in the walkthrough is I'll be combining the my understanding of ACT with some practical walkthrough, which by practical as in applicable to applying to real life scenarios, and also the execution part of the Owners Corporation Act. So yeah, that's the part that will be special in the video. Now, for reference, this is the official reference of the Owners Corporation Act in Victoria. So here's the link that I've opened up. So yeah, you should all refer to the official sources for these official sources for an most up-to-date Owners Corporation Act. To start off, to start off, I will go through the Owners Corporation structure. So at the top, you have the Owners Corporation, which is all the owners. Below that, you have the OC manager, and OC is a short abbreviation, stands for Owners Corporation, which plays an administrative role, and they follow OC's instructions. Then you have committee, which is elected by the owners and must act for all owners. Now keep in mind of the three things. The Owners Corporation is all the owners, which means it's you, it's everyone, every other owner. The OC manager is not the OC. They are hired to perform its duty for the OC. The committee is not OC. They are representative of owners, and they should, oh, not they should, they must act in the interest of the OC. So the first practical gotchas I'll go through is the use of OC word. Now, if you are part of an owners corporation, if you're owner of an owner of in a some lot, special lot of an OC, you should always pay attention to where the OC word is used. Here's a red flag example. You are an owner. You raised concern with your OCM or agency regarding new levy increases. OCM or agency, or maybe let's say the committee, or another particular owner, they respond, OC set fees. Now, this particular statement, OC set fees, is legally correct. However, you should always pay attention that the OC here stands for all owners. So by saying this to you, an OCM agency, they are not the OC, and they are saying this to you, which you are an owner, and you are one of the owner that that's part of the OC, the statement could be a bit misleading, because it seems like when they set this statement, they are representative of the OC, which uh, which they are not, and which they um, when they said it, they may not mean to apply that. But however, for most owners who might not be as well at, who might not know OC, um, this the first impression to an owner, it could be misleading. The second thing is your concern is not answered. So this response is, instead of focusing on your concern, which is regarding your concern over the levy increases, it had shifted the topic of the discussion, or the focus of discussion. Why? You did not ask who set fees. You are just asking for justification of the new levy increases. Next, I would like to highlight this again. You are the owner means you are part of OC. So you have the right to know who in OC set the fees. Is it in a general meeting? Is it in committee meeting? Did the process follow OC Act in a compliant way? Was enough information provided to justify the levy? And here, when I say set the fees, means probably the latest levy fee you received. You also have the right in terms of the transparency of fees. So ask question: can the figure in levy be justified? Can individual item be justified? And here, when I say figure, as in the numbers. The next practical gotcha is the power of your vote. So keep in mind your vote makes difference. So the short answer is use your vote. OC runs like an organization. Every organization decision, or in this case, every OC decision, will impact the owner's position, financially and operationally. If you are not voting, you're basically handing over your future of the OC, which you must be a part of, to others' hands. Next, if decision is passed, assuming compliantly under OC Act, it's not an easy process to revert the decision. There are time investment and there are communication investment. Next, think in the long term. Don't rely on luck. Don't rely, oh, there's actually a typo here, so this should be rely. Don't rely on expect on others to fix the issue. Goodness only goes to the ones who makes the effort. Goodness goes to the one who makes effort. And if you didn't make an effort, you still get the goodness. You're probably just really, really lucky. And it's important to understand the impact of annual percentage increase, which I will show in the next slide. So this is an illustration of the long-term impact of percentage increase. So as you can see, I've listed over 30 years, was generally, probably when you bought your property, you generally, the common standard is a 30-year long-term loan. So whether you are part any of this level, so if you're paying like a 2,000 annual fee, 3,000 annual fee, 4,000 annual fee, 5,000 annual fee, and is that a typo? Actually, yeah, that's 5,000, and a 10,000 annual fee. This is an illustration of if the annual fee, the annual levy you are getting is increased by 4% each year, what would happen over the years? So as you can see, the longer the year goes, the more, or the more it increases comparing to the previous cycle. And yeah, there's a mathematical term of this, which is the power of exponential. I guess to the most intuitive way, you can just look at this final number. If you're paying 2,000 per annum, assuming with a 4% annual increase fee, in 30 years' time, you will pay 112,000. If it's 3,000, then it's 168,000. If it's 4,000, it's 224,000. If 5,000 is 220,000, 280,000. If it's 10,000, then you are paying almost $500,000 over the 30 years just for OC, your OC levy. So when it comes to making decisions of OC fees, and keep in mind, OC may set fees, and you are part of the OC. You are part of that decision-making process. It's not any particular, let's say, particular owner in your OC. It's all the owners. So always keep this in mind. And use a vote. Back to the first point, use a vote. Next part is the committee's duty. Now I have put it here, and for this particular one, I will show in the most recent OC Act. I'll find where this clause is. All right, duties of committee and subcommittees. Now, so yeah, you can see, what this part, which is presented here. So as mentioned before, committee are elected by the owner. Now there is a duty for the committee, and it's in the act. So this is a legislation requirement of the act. It must act honestly, good faith, and in the interest of the owners. As owners or owners corporation, same thing. I mean, equivalent in terms of the rights. So these three terms are really important for committee. And the next thing is also very important. So here it says, a member of a committee or a subcommittee of a OC must not make improper use of the member's position to gain, directly or indirectly, an advantage for the member or any other person. So yeah, the social way to look at this is, the committee should not misuse its position, to make any financial gains, whether it's towards itself or or indirect towards others. This is strictly permitted. This is strictly not permitted in the OC Act. It is stated very clearly. This cannot happen. So yeah, so you can look at this way. Committee, let's use a very social term to this, cannot have financial interest. Cool. Now, next part to the committee's duty, practical gotcha. Draw attention to committee's delegation. So as previously mentioned, committee are representative of the owners. In the legislation, Owner Corporation Act, there are certain type of, I guess, things or certain type of decisions committee can make. Um, of course, there are strictly a certain set of um, decisions which the committee can't make um, on behalf of the owners corporation, or on behalf of all the owners. So yeah, in short term, you can look at this this topic as the delegation. Um, so yeah, there are certain type of functions or decisions that can be delegated to a committee, and there are strictly certain set of powers and functions cannot be delegated in the OC Act. Right. So that's the background. Now, which I will go into more details of those type of uh, what powers can be powers and function can be delegated, what powers function cannot be delegated. In the future chapters. For now, I'll highlight this red flag example. So, if in your OC, in any document that you came across this term, delegation of all powers and function to committee in accordance with the OC Act, you should really pay attention to this red flag. Firstly, this particular statement is, or we can say term, is misleading and easy to misunderstood. So the full sentence is not legally incorrect. And I can tell you why it's not legally incorrect. It's because of what has been added here. What it has added in the end of the sentence, in accordance of the OC Act. So when this statement is made, whoever whichever person or a set of person who proposed this term, they know that without this part at the back, this would be violating the OC Act. It would be a illegal term without this part, this post part. What's interesting is about how this is phrased. By adding this to the end, it will make it not legally incorrect. However, the first impression of most owners will only pay attention to the part at the start, which, if the owners are not, which most owners aren't, let me use the term educated enough about the OC Act, or how the OC Act works. What the legislation permits, what it prohibits. Under that situation, most owners, they'll only pay attention to the first delegation part, right? And they may get into this trap, this mindset trap that it's up to the committee to have the powers and functions. It's up to the committee to make decisions. It's not, and they may get into this mindset trap, think that the owners don't need to be a part of the decision. Now that's what I want to highlight. Don't get into that mindset trap. This particular phrase here is deliberately said. Okay, let me not use deliberate, but it's because deliberate is, I guess, a personal opinion, which is, I guess it's okay for me to use it in this video, from my personal perspective, but I just want to highlight, this term can easily make the owner, or mislead the owner, or make the owner misunderstood. It can make the owner, just think, oh, the first part, and it, you know, and most owner, which most of want know in detail OC Act, they will just forget about this part. So in short, you will miss it with very likelihood will mislead the owners, uh, you know, and could make the owner think that the committee have all the powers and functions, which it does not, and which even if you look at the original sentence, they've it has put this at the very end, so the full sentence itself acknowledges that committee there are certain set of powers and delegations which the committee cannot have, so the original sentence itself actually acknowledges it. It's just up to you, it just if when it's presented to owners, whether um, what will be the first impression like. Now the next part, this particular sentence itself is contradictory with committee's duty. I guess you can ask a question: what's the purpose of delegation of all powers, all owners, all powers, in this case, the OC consists of the owners, right? So it's basically delegating all owners' power and functions to a committee. If the committee is required to act in good faith, due care, diligence, and act in interest of corporation. Think about it. Like, what's the purpose of having this clause? Even though this part of the clause, this part of sentence has been added, have sort of like rationalize the whole sentence. And next question: does this mean committee can make decisions without involving owners' input? As the responses and could be or as a response, for example, if there's some particular decision which committee has made, and you question this committee, why did you make that decision? Do you have the power to make that decision? The committee could say, oh, they could just refer you to this sentence, and it may mislead you to think that okay, the power and function has been delegated. You may miss this part, very easily. Okay, the next, it can be used as an exact tactic for own accountability. So if there's certain accountability that the OC requests on the committee, the committee could use this, at least in let's say a private response, as an exact tactic. And here one highlight, because it's an undefined set of power and functions, it blurs the boundary and allows easier on accountability. Now, thank you for staying to here. This is the first chapter. I will be uploading more chapters later as time goes on. Cheers.